you are in a viable business. If you can be able to 10x your production without 10xing your production, that business is viable. So if you don't have records, you are out. You cannot be able to tell whether you can 10x your production without 10xing your cost. So you're not able to measure that. So value addition is a strong way of making agroecological enterprises viable, and it's proved from research that every time a product is value added, it helps you to increase your income from 30 to 60%, as opposed to you selling it fresh. So that's one of the ways we can be able to leverage value addition and improve our agroecological enterprises. I've always argued the only way to make agroecology thrive and move to the next place is to be able to, but you cannot scale, you cannot move your business to being profitable if you are not certified. I was having a discussion at lunchtime and I was telling them my greatest challenge now is certification. If I'm able to be certified, I may not need a grant to scale. I could actually scale because I have proven ideas, I have done prototypes, I have tested my market here and abroad. So I know that if I can get certified, I'll cross the bridge to the next level. So the next thing is market development, where we work with all these agroecology farmers. You aggregate. If I am getting vegetables from Baringo, I'm not getting 1 kilo, 2 kilos, I'm getting a lorry. So those farmers are assured of market. So when they plant, we structure that in a way that we can even give them contracts so that they are sure of market. Then we can buy from them, bring it here in Nairobi where the market is ready. Then there is policy level, which really as entrepreneurs, we can only contribute to it. The policy makers, sometimes we don't have a seat at the policy level, but that needs also to be looked at, where the policies are made to favor AEs and include them. So this is the case study we did in this year, Spring Agric and Adol Life. We worked with C-Shep Kenya, which is a CBO, and we saw all those things, roots to revenue training. It was a training that anchored agroecological practices, and we moved these farmers from soil health all the way to sustainable farming practices, to value addition, and then to the market. So what should we do? What can we do? Can agroecology really thrive? What is our call? To unlock this full potential, we must all be involved. It can't be just women and youth. We also must tell stories, real stories, as opposed to us coming and having beautiful presentations. Let's have case studies. Let's speak about the real challenges on the ground. What actually is ailing us, and how can we move from just talking about production to value addition and to actually capturing a strong, provable market for agroecological products. Thank you so much. Unless there are any questions.
Wow. That is the reaction I have. Like, wow. That was more of a motivational speech than a presentation, right? Are you motivated? Are you motivated? Okay. So for me, I had a key takeaway. It is that accessing resources is not a challenge. Accessing resourceful people is the real challenge on the ground. All right. So that is my takeaway, and also on the convenient products, which reminded me of the product I made for my thesis. I made Indomils, noodles from biofortified beans. So I'm an agroecological entrepreneur as well. I want to welcome any questions from the audience, any reactions, any takeaway points, any comments. The next 5 minutes are dedicated to that discussion. Anybody? Okay. That's a bit demoralizing. Yes, thank you. Itafika? Atakuja? Okay.
Nafikiri tutaelewana hata kama sizungumze Kiingereza. Najaribu kwa Kiswahili. Mimi naitwa Felicien Zozo. Natoka DRC, toka Congo. Ninaongoza shirika ambayo inaitwa ISOP, vile vile ni mimi na person chair wa Pelam DRC. Wakati dada akizungumzia challenges kwa kuweza kufanya kazi ya agroecology, nafikiri ulisema challenge ya kwanza sio pesa. Japokuwa hili nilikuwa nangojea. kwani vijana mara na mara wanasema sifanye kazi fulani kwa kuwa sina pesa, wamama sina pesa. Na siku hizi kuna kwa donors ambao wanaleta misaada, inaonekana nafikiri ni sawa. Ni kwake. Sasa nafikiri hatutaendelea kusema kwa kufanya kazi tutege mkono kwa donors, lakini tuangalie sisi wenyewe tuna nini. Huko Kongo niliunda shirika yangu ni ASOP, lakini anja program ya vijana kujiundia kazi na kutafuta pesa kupitia kilimo. Hiyo program inaitwa Yulima. Okay, piga hata kwa internet utaona Yulima. Lakini ulizo wangu ni swali ni hii tu. Vijana ama wamama hapa Kenya wanafanya nini leo kwa kuweza kupata mali ama uwezo wa kufanya kazi wasipongojea pesa ya kutoka nje? Initiatives gani ambao kweli, hatua gani wamepiga wamama vijana kwa kuweza kujifundia kazi? Najua kuna nafasi nyingine watu wanakuwa na vikundi mbalimbali ya kukodeana pesa, inakuwa na jina mbalimbali, lakini hapa Kenya watu wanafanya nini? Vijana na wamama hasa wanafanya nini kwa kupata pesa ya kujiundia kazi pasipo kwenda kwa benki ama kwa shirika fulani? Wanafanya nini?
Nitakujibu kwa sababu mimi ni mama na nimejiundia biashara zangu bila kupewa pesa na benki na bila kupewa, nimepewa msaada wa dona ama grant kama biashara yangu iko miaka 7 na nilianza na ile pesa ya nyumbani. Story yangu ama hadithi yangu ni kwamba mimi niliacha kazi mwaka wa 2016 tarehe 5 Disemba. Leo lunchtime nilitoka lunch na mtu akaniuliza, wewe umesoma wapi? Nikamwambia mimi ni mwanasayansi, nilisoma Kenyatta University na nikagraduate na shahada ya kisayansi. Akaniuliza, ulianza kulima kwa sababu ulikosa kazi? Mimi nilisikia vibaya kwa sababu sikuanza kulima kwa sababu nilikosa kazi. Nilikuwa na kazi mzuri sana kwa NGO. Niliacha tarehe 5 Disemba 2016. Nilitaka sana kufuga kuku. Na nilijiambia kwa akili yangu nitafuga kuku na zitanisaidia. Na sasa ile niliacha kazi sikuwa na pesa. Nilikuwa napewa pesa ya nyumbani ile ya kununua maziwa, kununua unga na kununua hizo vitu zingine. Na kwa sababu naambianga wamama tuko na power na vijana, you have power. Nilikuwa nagawa ile pesa mara 2 na najiambia ile siku inafika 15th nitakuwa nimefanya biashara, hata kama ni ya kuuza mayai ya hizi kuku zangu, nikarudisha ile pesa ya kushughulikia mahitaji ya nyumbani. Na hivyo ndivyo biashara yangu ilikuwa. When I divided my house expenses into 2, I promised myself that by 15th of the month I must have raised money to take care of the rest of the house expenses. And that's how my business grew. And right now we employ about 13 people. Mimi sikupewa pesa na mtu yeyote. Sikuomba. Unajua kuna ile tunasema family, friends and fools. Hapana. Biashara yangu ili grow ile tunaita organic growth. It might not be the most lucrative enterprise in town, but for me it's a very successful enterprise that every woman, employed or not, can actually copy. It's a model that can be copied and replicated.
Thank you so much. Napenda hiyo model ambayo ukisikia neno limekuguza unafanya nini? Unapiga makofi. Thank you so much. There is another question or comment? Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. My name is Nyongesa Tom and I'm from Marsabit. And in Marsabit, swali langu, especially to the lady, there's something you've talked about, the value addition. I work with Food for the Hungry, and in Marsabit, we are empowering the women who are upfront pastoralists. So having them transform into agro-pastoralists is really a long journey, but we are making strides in that. One thing that I would wish that you support or talk about is, one, the issue is about pastoralists. Hawa ndio wanachunga mali huko ni mifugo. Na these people when they go to wakienda huko tunaita fora, they only survive on meat and milk. na saa zingine damu. But now with the introduction of the ecology approaches, we are introducing vegetables and these other things that they can use. Now, preserving these, remember huko ni kuna joto sana. I want you to just hear from me about how best would we as service providers in that area embrace that lengthening of value addition ya vegetables, so that hao vijana wanapoenda fora na wanaenda huko wanaenda na mali wanakata 6 months ndio warudi. So how can we preserve, what approaches in preservation of these vegetables to lengthen that period and also provide a market to these women groups who by doing that would change the perception ya kukula tu nyama na maziwa, so that the vegetable components can come in. And even if you do so, kindly talk about the equipments that would greatly support this practice. Asante.
Thank you. I speak value addition fluently. I think there isn't anything you would tell me that I wouldn't make by my hands that can be made by hands. So when you talk about pastoralist, I also work in Kajiado, and up of my mind is sun drying the vegetables. You will then ask me where is the market. I'll tell you, if you access certification, that's why I said the problem to Cornell Sana is certification. There is an insatiable market of sun-dried vegetables outside of the country to our diaspora people, our own. Wacha hata wao Waarabu na Wazungu. The Kenyans who are in diaspora are looking for managu at a scale you will not how to satisfy. Mimi challenge yangu saa hii si soko. Challenge yangu ni nipate hizi barua niweze niko na soko. So drying those vegetables, sun drying the vegetables is very key. The equipment you need: solar dryer and a vacuum sealer and packaging bags. It's a technique I can teach even in my sleep because I have done it. Then another thing I'll tell you about pastoralist is there is something called beef tallow. Have you heard about beef tallow? Beef tallow ni mafuta ya ng'ombe. Si nyinyi mnachinja ng'ombe kila siku? Sasa sahi tunaongea mafuta ya ng'ombe haitumiki tu kupika. I know there is the beef tallow for cooking. It is a big thing in the cosmetic industry. And the cosmetics can be made in Marsabit without electricity. It is me who will show you how. So do not be, usianze kusema, oh, hatuna stima. No, we have trained women on how to hand make cosmetics by hand. And we are big on non-electrical equipment. So it is possible. We just need to think without the box. Forget thinking outside the box. Throw the box away and think.
Okay, thank you so much for that. I'm so glad that you brought an expert as the first one. I hope I'm skip pressure. You're ready to come, sindio? And I'm also glad that the room is made of youths and young people who are feeling motivated. How many of us are motivated? Because I am. Yeah, thank you so much. So thank you so much, Nyambura, for the very inspirational presentation. I want to invite to stage, if you allow me, to invite to stage the next presenter. Mr. I hope I do not butcher your name, okay? Mr. Navison Nyakapini. Is that your name? Yes. Okay, thank you. Yes, so Mr. Navison is from Egerton University with an MSc. He's an agri-economist, and he will be presenting to us on promotion of youth in agriculture entrepreneurship. He is also an OREC participant, and he is here as also a PELAM member and a youth representative. Karibu sana, Bwana Navison. As we do, if you have social media, if you have X, LinkedIn, anything, feel free to tweet lessons from this session online, tag the participants, mpeane majina zenu za Twitter, just to ensure their engagement is there. Yeah, just to ensure that you reach more people beyond this room. We become ambassadors, sindio? Yes, because we get to be honored to be here today and to be in this presentation. So let's be the agents of change. Yeah, I'm talking just to give them time. Don't mind me. Yeah, that's a nice photo. Yes, a very nice person. Thank you for agreeing with me. Okay, sawa sawa. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much. I think I'll be I think I'll be audible without a mic. Oh, all right, all right. Thank you so much. I appreciate. My name is Nafson Nyakapeni. I come from Zimbabwe, and I also come from Africa. Currently, I'm a NOREC participant under a program which is run by Pelham Kenya and also Fachig Trust in Zimbabwe. Today, I want us to discuss about some of the results of my study I have done in Kenya, in Njoro sub-county, Kenya, a conceptual strategy to promote women and youth participation in agricultural entrepreneurship, Nexus Agroecology. So out of 1.2 billion people which are in Africa, 50% are aged below 35 years. And currently approximate of 250 million are aged between the age of youths. And also unemployment is also affecting much of our youths and women in Africa. And we also have the potential which are in youths which need to be observed when we are also respecting their participation in policy and also in decision-making process. So in the Kenyan context, more than 80% of the youth, they are not able to find employment in the formal sector, which is government mostly and also other institutions. But right now you can realize that Africa, it depends more on agriculture, and our climate is favorable for agriculture, because even if you plant, even if you raise animals, we don't have issue to do with the snow and even floods. Yes, we can have them here and there, but the potential is still there in agricultural entrepreneurship, which is now more when we observe, we now combine it with agroecology, because global funding is also moving towards agroecology and means which can allow people to have healthy food and food secure, and which can make people to live long after consumption. So now in agricultural entrepreneurship, now we are combining with, we are now talking of organic farming, agroecology, permaculture practices, those practices which are synthetic chemical free. So when we were doing this study, we were trying to figure out the problem, which we realized that unemployment is high. And we also even try to check if the government is also having some legal structure which promotes creation of employment and also businesses by the youth or by Kenyans. We realized that there is an Act number 55 of the Constitution, which was put in place in 2012. This one, it also promotes small to medium enterprises, where if you are a Kenyan, you can able to register a small business easily, even online, then you can even able to get the certificate, so that you can, it is an act which is also promoting ease of doing business. Then agricultural entrepreneurship come up as an idea to solve unemployment, because when you are now starting issue to do with agroecology, permaculture, organic farming, you will have friends who are already doing it and also even able to advise you on how can you get funding, right? Then the policies, they are there, and even the act, they are there. But now the issue is unemployment is still there. And we say, you can do this, then you can be unemployed. You can do this, then you can have sustainable entrepreneurship. So now we need to see how best can we still continue to curb the problem of unemployment, since which is the problem which now realize that even youths, they end up even venturing into other activities. So the objective was now to develop a model or a conceptual framework which can predicted from the factors which can influence participation of youths into agricultural entrepreneurship. Because when they participate into agricultural entrepreneurship, which means they are already unemployed, they are already employed. So now we need to look on those factors. Then we see how best can we incorporate them so that youth can accept and appreciate that agricultural entrepreneurship for sure can create employment. Then when we were trying to justify the research to the academia, to the industry, the private and the public sector, we realized that the county government, it can also use agricultural entrepreneurship information when they are now having what we call Nakuru County government sponsored youth entrepreneurship program. They also have youth empowerment and talent support program, but the data we will produce from this study, they can now use it to make what we call concrete and evidence-based decisions. And it is also in support of Sustainable Development Goal number 8, which supports creation of employment and also decent work practices. Then the study, I was focusing more on the factors which influence agricultural enterprises, and also the questionnaire, we were mostly trying to focus more on the youths. Then the methodology in the research area, I did it in Njoro sub-county, and I was working with Njoro, Ward, Mauche, and Maunarok. Then I used what we call multi-stage sampling. Then on the conceptual framework, when we were now conceptualizing the idea of curbing the problem, we realized that we need to look into what we call socio-economic factors. Then we also look on the what we call push and pull. Because now when we want to start a business, sometimes you can be pulled into a business, which means you go there because there is money, you have money in your pocket. Then you realize that if I venture into this business, there is money. Then there is a problem again where you can be pushed, where you realize that me, I don't have money and I have problem. I have to start a business. So it's two-sided. You can go by willing or by pushed. Then we realize that there is what we call institutional factors, where we have what we call legal restrictions, where we realize that we have taxes where people, they are complaining, loan accessibility, coming back to what my sister said about is to do with papers. You need what we call papers if you want to access money, because banks, they don't trust beautiful or handsomeness. Right? Then we have challenges. Then from there, if we manage very well to conceptualize, you realize that youth, they will participate in agricultural entrepreneurship. Because then this is the model, we run the probability irrigation model. But these figures, as economists and developmental strategists, we have to symbolize them so that a person who never done econometrics will be able to know now when we say significant figures, how can we use them in the field? Then participation of agricultural entrepreneurship was significantly driven by age, which means when a person is maybe about to finish the 35 years, you'll be like, hey, let me make effort so that I grab all the youth opportunities. Then education, credit access, experience, marketplace ownership. Marketplace ownership, it is also linked to accessibility of land. Because when you don't have land, you realize that the place you get it where. Then we have what we call income and also training. Then right now, the output of the model, which is now recommended for developmental people, where now we bring in the meaning of what we call significant variables in our model. What we're supposed to do in stage 1, it's capacity building, entrepreneurship and training programs in agroecology. Then from there, that model must be anchored with encourage and support of ownership of strategic resources like land to women and youths to invest in agroecology. Which means it's not about now just training. Give them skills of how can they access space in the business environment. How do you access space in Njoro market? How do you access space in, let's say, Vihiga? How do you access space for keeping goats in Baringo? You get it? Where do we get land which are being leased, right? Then stage 2, sorry, I wrote stage 1. Stage 2, initiation of affordable credit programs from financial institutions that support agroecology, right? It's not always that a grant is the one which is supposed to fund agroecology. We also need credit. We also need loan system. But now, the youth, you can give him a loan today, then he disappear tomorrow. You get it? Remember, we are on the credit access, on the model, right? So, which means the bank will be protected with what we call the de-risking instrument, where youth or women loan guarantee scheme from the county government, right? The county government must help us with the data of this person was born on this village, and his parents are here and there, and he stays there. Then our team will go on ground and assess if you are a real person or you are just Nelson anajua Kiswahili anatoka Zimbabwe. He has managed to access a Kenyan ID. Then from there, I say I appear where, then I vanish after I get money. You get it? So now we need what we call de-risking instrument. Then from there, we have now outcomes which we are expecting. So remember, everything must start with the capacity building, because you don't tell people what they don't know. Right? Unlocking markets for youth in agripreneurship. Then these markets, now we need what we call markets for agroecology or organic produced products. Right? Then we have what we call private and public sector, more youths involved in agriculture and food security, more income, sustainable employment, creation and nutrition security. That is now how we have to conceptualize and start with when we are now going to the ground. From capacity building, we go to how we access resources. From resources, we go to loans. From loans, it is also combined with the grants. After there, we now work with the banks on how can we not be conned by the same youths and by the same women. From there, we'll have the results. Then from there, I want to acknowledge Pelam Kenya. I want to acknowledge Noreg. I want to acknowledge Fachig Trust. I want to acknowledge TagDev. They sponsored the research. It was too long and costly. Egerton Invest of Zimbabwe. Youth chiefs and enumerators. Right. At community level, the county governor didn't matter most. What matters, they are chiefs and youths who are in community. Because the chief will tell you that all the people who are around their mind. And if the chief is, they tell them to participate, they will participate. Let's invest in agroecology and sustainable agriculture strategies to liberate Africa from unemployment, hunger, poverty, and nutrition deficiency by Eni Nyakapeni, agri-economist. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much for that. In Zimbabwe, I know they say makorokoto for the good work. Yes, thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. And I do love research. Maybe I'm biased because I'm a research officer, but let's be honest. If we want to transition, as we keep saying, agroecology transition, we need to know where we are at so that we can know where we are heading. Sindio? Ndo tujue mahali tunafika, na tukifika hapo, what will be the signs? All right? Venye amesema concrete and evidence-based decisions and practices. Thank you so much. I want to take this opportunity to welcome any comments, any questions. Okay. No, you'll have to come closer to me because you have to use this thing. Yes.
So my question is, I heard you said that you have collected a lot of data from the youths between ages 18 and 35. So would you know around how many youths this were? And also the data that you collected, where is it? Is it available to the public, or how can we get access to the data?
I want to capture, you said the profession of the youths. Or the sample size. In the police, let me just give you a clip of, we normally recommend mostly when you are doing survey that you can write a police advice, or you can advise in papers in the recommendation to institutions and organization when you have a minimum of 150 at undergraduate, 150, you can start now to make decisions. Then I collected 300 sample, including women and men who are aged between 18 and 35. Then this is one of the paper which is in publication process. So after I finish my last paper, then I will publicize the data to the public, but mostly I will use Egerton University website and University of Zimbabwe website. Yeah, but you will access it, of course, we will network, and we'll also even work more. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, that's a very huge struggle that we have on data access and data translation so that we are able to understand what it means. We are hoping that the Egerton repository is accessible to the public. Sindio? Okay,
Okay, thank you. I'm an alumni of Egerton, so thank you for your research. I liked the statistics, but I like to understand, especially in your multi-stage sampling, especially on the component of age. I don't know if you went further to do research analysis to see the success. I know this is a short survey, but I'm just coining it to the presenter here also, and also based on what has been observed in practice, is that you'll always find there is some variation, especially for those relating to the pull factors mostly. You'll find there are those who will always maybe succeed after they've been, under the push factors. So maybe if you can just elaborate on those comparison which you got from the findings. Yeah.
I want to appreciate his question, and in terms of analysis, the success mostly came from push factors, and the business which were sustainable to the pool were the inherited, or where a youth is having a business but being backed by parents, like in your family. Then they said, you have finished the school, now let's open maybe a hotel at Njoro main gate. Then you realize that that business will be sustainable, because the time akitaka kuanguka, the parent will. Then we have businesses which are desktop lunches, if you know. the one which has been sponsored by Mastercard Foundation. That one comes from a push factor where the guy, when we were doing a survey, he explained that during his time of, he wanted to pursue masters, but he was even stuck. And he also wanted to open a business because he was even unemployed, and it was stuck after stuck. Then he accessed a grant through TACDEV program at Egerton Invest. Then from there, the business was sustainable. Then we have Comrade Milk and Yogurts, another business again from the push side. Then from the community, we also have businesses from the push side where you realize that youths, instead of just continue sitting in the village, they are now going to source vegetables from the community. Then they come with the vegetables in the market, or even mahindi ya kuchoma in the market. Then all those strategies, realize they were having a good explanation of why they are doing it and how they are continue having sustainable in the businesses in reference to push and pull. I don't know if I have answered you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Bwana Navison. And this is to the Kenyan youths. Wenye mko hapa, please make sure the next time he's presenting, the flag of Kenya is also doing that thing where, you know, Sindio, please. I want to welcome the next speaker to stage. It's our last speaker, so be a bit patient. And I'm so glad that the speakers who we have had before are taking just the right time. Sindio? Yes. So presenter 3 is Jackson Kiok. He's from Strathmore University. He's a policy researcher and analyst, and he will be presenting to us a project from the UNT program, Kenya, and it's based on agroecology. Tumpige makofi yakiingia. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Yeah, I know our concentration level are very low, so I'll try as much as possible to speed this up. And yeah, we've had a lot on research on youth, but I'm going to take you on a different dimension. So kindly bear with me, and of course we can answer questions later afterward. So yeah, and before I go any further, I have 2 members of the team here. So if they can just stand up. Yeah, that's Monica and that's Ben. So the project we are carrying is called the True Value of Food. So what's the true value of food? I know that is an ambiguous question, because you take an apple, for example, we buy it at, I don't know, at 45 shillings or 60 shillings, but is that the true value of it? Is that the really true value of that apple? But this is what these projects intend to achieve. So the project is being implemented by Strathmore Business School under the Natural Capital Hub with our colleagues from UNEP, and it is funded by the IKEA Foundation. So the project main objective is to contribute to food system transformation in Kenya by having what is called, or developing an economic case for pro-nature policies that support food system transformation, with the overall objective to transform land use policies and practices that will result in food and agriculture systems that to be more resilient to climate change, environmental sustainability, as well as improving the well-being of the citizen. So therefore, we have several outcomes, that is on businesses, on government, and on farmers. How can we use the TVA benefits? First of all, TVA is true value accounting. And permit me to digress from the slides and show you something else. So that is called true value accounting. True value accounting is the cost and benefit. It's a measure in which, in accounts, we use to measure the true value of a product or an economic sector. So the cost is on the environmental cost, the health impact, that is the resources used and the hidden externalities. What are the benefits? Long-term sustainability of a product, farmers' income, and ecosystem health. So that is what is called true value accounting. We look at the full cost and the benefit of a product or an economic sector. So how can businesses benefit from TVA. They will use the TVA methodology, in order to recognize the contribution of the 4 capitals. The 4 capitals are human, social, environmental, and I think social. I think I mentioned the 4 of them. And what will it benefit the government official, either county or national governments? They will be able to have the capacity to measure the value and the benefit of the decision that they make. Any policy that they are promoting, does it has the true value in it, to ensure that any policies that either in CDPs or, for example, all the counties are proposing to have agroecology policies, they should have the knowledge of TVA, that will help them, to better understand, to have the right policies that will promote the best agricultural practices. The geographical focus on the project is on 10 counties. That is the upper region, that is Cherangani, we call TVA 1. That is West Pokot, Trans Nzoia, and Elgeyo Marakwet. We have the middle section, that is TVA 2, that is Mau Forest Complex. That is Bomet, Kericho, Nandi, Uasin Gishu, Baringo, and Nakuru. And TVA 3, that is in Narok, and TVA 3 is Loita Hills. And we are doing this through employing various scenarios. Scenario is an imagination of, if we do this, this will happen. So for Cherangani, that is healthy food and healthy planet. Cherangani is divided into 3. There is the highland, the mid-level, and the Kerio Valley. So we are looking at that, and what we are emphasizing is on water resource to be sufficiently managed, and also to reduce the use of synthetic, and chemical fertilizers, and also to promote the use of fertilizer and regenerative practices. MFC, that is Mau Forest Complex, that is nature positive prosperity. And what we are promoting or focusing on is the cultivation of a large variety of crops, with a major focus on accessing international markets with tea, coffee, sugarcane, and maize. However, there is a challenge with, with climate change, the number of rainfall that has been, in the areas. So what we emphasize is water resource restoration that will improve the soil and health, and also a water holding capacity, and also logging timber in riparian and deforested areas. So in this region, in this picture, I don't know if it's much clearer. There was a gentleman who was in this conference, but he left a while ago. That was the land, the rocky region there, the rocky place, but he was able to turn it into a very amazing avocado farm. And I think he has been, I am certain that he is producing, he has been doing well. We were there a while back. For Loita, that is agroforestry. This will focus on improving livestock production through rotational grazing, fodder production, agroforestry, and removal of fencing for areas to enable pastoralism and wildlife conservation, because a number of wildlife are found in the area. So this is what you're proposing. It's called Kenya Food System Policy Nexus. You look at the middle, it's a food system transformation. How do we get there? There is what is called true value accounting, and all the capitals that I just mentioned earlier. If we have policy coherence is coordination with all the relevant state agencies and county agencies that has something to do with food systems. And now we will have an agriculture, food, and environment nexus, because we are all Kenya, excluding you who are from Zimbabwe, but you've done your research in Kenya. I believe that you are aware that we do not have a policy that talks on agriculture, food, and environment. All the policies that we have in Kenya are siloed. An agricultural policy doesn't say anything on environment, or doesn't say anything on food security. And that is why we are running into, many challenges that we are facing as a country. And so once we have the food security system, we will be able to have all those benefits. That is ecosystem resilience, food security, nutrition, sustainable productivity, and prosperity to the people. What does prosperity mean to you? Yeah, that is the end. But before I conclude that, just to do justice to the subject that has preoccupied us for the last 2 days, one that I believe it is relevant as it is topical, that is on agroecology. And they say to remain faithful to the chosen subject. I think it is prudent for me to mention what the project is doing in regards to agroecology. So we are supporting county government, and for starters, Nakuru County government is starting to implement an agroecology policy. So in the next few weeks, we are offering a little bit of financial support, because we are not a development project, we are a research project. So we are providing a little bit of financial support and of course technical expertise when it comes to agro ecology. They'll have a meeting to sensitize the CCs, so we'll be there to provide our technical support. And in late August, immediately after the devolution conference, we'll have what is called a TVA policy forum with all the 10 governors, the 10 deputy governors, the CCs responsible for agriculture, and the directors as well. And also we'll have people responsible for economic planning in all the 10 counties to do a sensitization on what TVA is and how can we integrate TVA through agroecological, practices to ensure that, the true value of food or the true value of ecosystems are fully, realized. So that, ladies and gentlemen, bring me to the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that wonderful presentation, Mr. Jackson. So, before I welcome any questions and comments, what are the 4 resources you talked about? Ngoja, twende. Hey, we go. Hakuna mtu alisikia? Alisema human, akasema finance, alafu akasema nini ingine? Now that is how you know. Maybe we didn't. At least one takeaway. One takeaway. Somebody from his presentation? Yes, please.
Thank you so much. One takeaway is he talked about issue to do with the developing policy before we make decisions, so that we'll be able to be supported. Then he said after we have a policy which is which is going in a certain direction, then we are going to enjoy the all benefits which has been in our SECO. Then at the center he was put food system transformation. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Navison. So thank you so much, Jackson. Last call for gender balance. Any lady who wants to tell us, what was the last question you asked? Did you ask, what does success look like? Or what was the word? Oh, yeah, she has something.
Okay. Thank you, Jackson, for the presentation. I was once a scientist, and that was very technical, even for me. But for me, as a farmer that I am right now, is that the question of TVA, true value accounting, and you started by asking what is the true value of food. So if I buy an avocado at 40 shillings, is it actually 40 shillings? I think that's something that needs to be broken down to us as farmers, so that we stop seeing our food as equal to 40 shillings and we see the whole value we are bringing to the ecosystem, and also having that at policy level recognized as not just people who farm avocados, but people who bring true value to the community.
And we are doing. Oh.
You can respond why this was a response.
Oh, on yes, it's very technical, even to us the scientists who are undertaking it. But what we are doing is we're developing what's called a TVA curriculum. We went to the 10 regions that I just mentioned through community of practice engagement, and we are doing what is called a needs to base assessment. What do you as a farmer need? How can we localize TVA, so that a farmer in West Pokot or in Narok can understand in their own language. So we are developing a curriculum. It's in the process, in the pipeline, and once we have that, we'll be able to issue it out. So.
Okay, thank you so much. Please, Rapatua, I hope you're telling us the 4 resources at least.
No. No.
Oh.
I first of all, I'm impressed by the long title. I think it's a big one. The tea bag, re-food, and I was struggling, but the name of the project is Fainty. But I know you are a scientist, so I will not ask you more than that. So I just wanted to say this. I have listened to these presentations from research to practices and everything. And also for our sister here, it's just one thing I want to request. I'm a mentor, I'm not a scientist. I'm a communicator and I also do knowledge management. But there's just one request. If I had that same opportunity, I will say it in the main auditorium. There is a way agriculture is demonized by young people, and I cannot blame them. We need to see how we can integrate anything that we are doing or of mentoring them to see the value. It is very surprising that people don't know that. Now at some point I didn't have this small white hair here, and I think Mzee and the rest, we are exiting the scene. Then what happens? You will have to struggle with your problems. So if the few converters are here, this rose story that you have, don't just die behind the labs. You need to customize and make agriculture not just agroecology anymore, because that is where we want to go. That is one problem, big problem that we're trying to solve. But try to customize some kind of mentorship, within the mentorship program, so that they can understand the value of this agroecology and all these other food systems that we're talking about. Reason being, social media, the fast food, the list is endless. That's the fast life that we are all going to. So the few of us who are trying to slow it down by looking at the systems properly will remain few. So that's all I wanted to add. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Bwana Job, for that comment. I do agree. We need to make agriculture attractive to the young people, right? Yes, and as we tweet, as we link in, as we do all those things, let's tag as many young people as we know so that we can mentor them. Don't underestimate your position or your role in this journey. Wherever you stand, you can make a mini pasta. You can make a what? A difference. No matter how small, you can create impact. Cindy, it's like the ripple effect. And that is my concluding word of the day. Thank you so much for attending this session. Thank you. And a big applause to our presenters, to Wapige Makofi. Thank you for the good work. Yes, ningesema mkuja tupige picha, but sioni photographer, so unfortunately. You will take with your phone. Okay, just one last photo for us, just for memory's sake. Alafu tupatane auditorium for the closing ceremony and the awards. Thank you so much.